As tradies and contractors, very often we heavily rely on referrals and word of mouth. I know some of our builder clients never do any marketing ever. Like they literally get all of their work through word of mouth, which is fantastic. But what can we do to improve this? You're joining us today for episode 1 of the Ultimate Referral Marketing System for Tradies and Contractors podcast series that I'm conducting with my co-host, the Referral Marketing Guru, Mr. Michael Griffiths. This is episode 1. So today we're talking about building your referral team. It's made up of 3 episodes and they're all super relevant. We've just come off the back of recording them and they're fantastic, guys. So I thoroughly encourage you guys to take this in because it is so relevant to tradies and contractors. Michael's also left behind a really useful resource for you guys over at the resources page of the Site Shed. So you can head across to thesiteshed.com/resources and you can get a hold of that. It's also available through the show notes. So you can definitely get it on the show notes of each one of these episodes that's going to be coming out. Anyway, that's all from me. If you guys get something out of this, please leave us a review. We very much appreciate it. You can leave us a review in iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Google+, all those things. We'd really appreciate you take 5 minutes to do that. It'd be very, very, very much appreciated. And also, guys, share this with somebody that will get value out of it. Like I'm telling you right now, you're going to get value out of this. Like it is an extremely good series. If you want to get more of a visual, guys, you can head across to the show notes as well, where you can see the video recording. This one was video recorded. The link for that is going to be thesiteshed.com/blog/referral-1. Those episodes are going to be -1, -2, and -3. So anyway, guys, enjoy and let us know what you think. Today's podcast has been proudly brought to you by Tradie Web Guys. Tradie Web Guys work with tradespeople only on their websites and marketing solutions to help them stand out from their competition. Everything from web design through to SEO, search engine marketing, content creation, you name it, guys. It is a customized solution for trade-based organizations and it's fantastic. Head across to tradiewebguys.com.au/apply, fill in the form and let's have a conversation. It'll be the best thing you could possibly do to kickstart 2019 the right way.
Giving tradies and contractors around the globe the tools to run a modern business. You're listening to Toolbox Talks from the Site Shed. Now here's your host, Matt Jones.
Michael Griffiths, welcome to the Site Shed.
Thank you very much, Matt Jones. Good to be with you.
Absolutely. So we have been introduced by our mutual friend, Ed Plant. Ed was a guest recently on the podcast, did an amazing series there. And he recommended I reach out to you to have a chat about some of the referral marketing initiatives that you have basically built a business around. As you know, our entire audience are tradies, and so their pretty much life depends on referral marketing. So I figured it would be a very good conversation to have. And as a result, we've ended up, I suppose, splitting this down into 3 different topics to make up a series, as we normally do. And it will be very relevant to a lot of listeners out there. So if you guys are out there and you think that you get a lot of referral work or word of mouth work or whatever it is, then you are about to be enlightened.
Very good and so true, Matt. I reckon that I would say that most people probably still have at least 50-60% of referrals to get versus what they currently get.
Well, like I'm the worst person at this. Like I preach it and I teach people how to do it. I don't do it myself. Like I'm shocking. So I think sometimes we get so I mean, it's a good position to be in when I suppose you don't really necessarily have to rely on them. But the reality is it's ridiculous because, I mean, you and I both know that, you know, your conversions off a referral are considerably higher than your conversions off marketing, for example. And so I think a lot of listeners out there, and I know for a fact, I mean, a lot of our builder clients, especially, like they've never done any marketing in their lives. They literally just bounce from job to job based off referral work from other clients. So it's extremely powerful.
Yeah, very true. And as you've said, probably the smartest way, without a doubt, the longest way. It doesn't rely on the next widget, the latest algorithm, the next fancy thing. It is always relationship marketing, and that will never, ever die.
One thing that I've found interesting lately, and I ran an event a couple of years ago, and I did a bit of research. Actually, you would probably have a lot more information on this. I'm interested to hear what your take is. I did a bit of research and we're quizzing people on the reality of if you get a referral, do you call that person immediately or do you do your own research? And this, mind you, this is 5 years ago. Something like 75% of them 5 years ago said, I'd get the referral and then I'd go and do my own research as well.
Right.
And I found that very, very interesting. And I also have used it quite a lot since, because obviously we do websites and, marketing and that kind of stuff. And we say, well, listen, guys, if you want to make a first impression, that might come from a referral. However, it's also important that when somebody finds you, that you're professionally represented.
Yeah. No, very true. When I get given a referral, and this probably hasn't changed for a good 4 or 5 years, first thing I'll do is I'll reach out to them. And in fact, I'll actually ask the other person to connect us via email. And that way then, rather than just phoning, I think we're just so busy in today's world that there's a good chance that when you phone, they're not ready to talk to you.
Right.
They've got something else going on. Not too many people are just sitting there going, can't wait for my next phone call. So I actually love where we get connected via email first. Then I can just reach back out via email and just say, hey, thanks so much for the connection. So-and-so, great to be able to meet you. Look forward to being able to catch up. Let's organise a time to be able to speak. And then that way then, at least when you're speaking to them, they're ready for it. You've got their full attention. It's just a nice little process, I think, to put in place that ensures that you start off with a good conversation rather than a rushed one or you interrupting them.
I couldn't agree more. And I think phone calls throughout the day can be it's such a responsive thing, isn't it? A reactive thing. It's like, phone rings, better answer it, and totally interrupt whatever you're doing. So I'm in the habit now. I don't know. Have you heard of the Pomodoro style work method where you do your blocks of work over 20 minutes and then you take a break?
Yeah, right. Yep.
So within like a 25-minute or 30-minute block, I'll have the phone off and I'll work, and then after 30 minutes, I have a 5-minute break and I'll check it and see if I've got any messages or anything important. And then I'll go back to that 30 minutes. So it works really well because you're not like, hello, Now, I think one of the big challenges for our listeners out there as well, Michael, is in that scenario, a lot of them kind of feel like they need to answer the phone to get work. And it's true. Like if the phone rings, they should answer it, or they should have somebody answering it for them. And a lot of the guys sort of walk a fine line between that conversation around, well, look, I kind of need to be the guy on the phone because people know me and, I'm the one they want to speak to and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of think it's by design that they've, sort of backed themselves into a corner to a regard with that kind of mentality. But look, the reality is, like a lot of them this is a problem that a lot of them have, they need to answer their phone, which takes them away from doing important things, that they may be in the middle of. And it's like chicken or the egg. So, but anyway, look, regardless, Michael, why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown on you as the Referral Marketing Guru? Let us know a bit about your background.
Yeah, certainly. Teacher by trade, primary school, high school math teacher. Thought that would always be my life. Teaching, elite level basketball coach. We had the pleasure of being to collegiate level over in the US, National League level here in Australia, 2 Olympic Games as an assistant coach. So I always thought that being able to be a elite level basketball coach, I could teach during the day, coach in the mornings and afternoons, and what a life. Came back from the US in 2008, just got tired of the lazy teachers. The paperwork, the useless conversations, you're there for the kids. And as soon as I could see that most teachers weren't, maybe a bit of a generalisation, but a whole bunch that were in the school I was at, I just don't want to do this for the next 40 years. So that's where I left, went out and started creating businesses. Since then, we've had probably one of the bigger marketing agencies in this country that we sold in 2013, and next just straight down into referral marketing, partnership marketing, and just focusing in that little area. That's how we built our previous businesses, never spending a cent on marketing. We've just got to teach people how to do the same sorts of stuff. So that's what started in mid-2013, and here we are sort of 4 years on, and now we operate around the globe. We've got our intensives happen in London, in LA, as well as in Sydney. And it's just great being able to, create the impact that we do on a global level and just be around some really good people and help them grow their businesses.
Yeah, brilliant. And so now you've generously left behind a resource for the listeners out there, which is your referral game plan. So I encourage you guys definitely go and check that out. There'll be a link to that in the show notes for sure, and I'll post it in the Facebook group as well once the podcast goes live. So, Michael, we've broken this conversation down into 3 parts, as we often do at the Site Shed. We don't like giving mixed messages. I know there's a few of the guys out there that don't like that because they want all the information up front, but as I've told them before, tough shit. So the series is titled The Ultimate Referral Marketing System for Tradies and Contractors. We have quite a big US audience as well, or North American audience, so they'll certainly appreciate what you can teach in this series. The first episode, we're talking building your referral team. The second episode, we're talking how to make the most out of your network. And in the third and final episode, we're talking about creating strong referral partnerships. So I'm curious to ask you, Michael, why have we designed the series around these 3 topics?
Yeah, and there are 3 key circles, so to speak. When people build their own referral teams and therefore they've got plenty of referral sources, hey, it's not hard to get referrals. Most people tend to only think they can get referrals from their clients. And to me, I think that's probably one of the harder places to get referrals from. And we just call that the cherry on top. So when you build your own referral teams, get plenty of referral sources, you're always going to have plenty of referrals coming in. Our networks is huge. We've all got such big networks, and whether it's everyone on your social platforms to everyone who are friend, family, neighbours, prospects, clients, past clients, you've got all these people around you. Very rarely do we get opportunities from our network simply because we don't have a plan to. So that becomes a big area that can get pretty quick results just by simply being aware of a handful of stuff within your networks. And then partnerships, well, for most tradies, hey, very few are cross borders. So therefore, it's like, okay, we do stuff within 15 kilometres of this region, or we look after this country town, or we happen to be across this particular city. Well, there are so many other businesses, people within that region that you could be creating partnerships with so that you get seen absolutely everywhere. And when you get that sort of exposure, the phone doesn't stop ringing. And that's where you have then the nice problem of having someone else answer the phone for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. So some of the pain points and things we're going to address in this series here, I know a lot of the guys maybe don't get enough referrals, or maybe I should rephrase that. A lot of the guys don't actively seek referrals correctly. I've found in my experience, you'll often get referrals if you ask for them. Although I tend to agree with you, like very often I think clients are some of the harder ones to get referrals from. I guess there's a bit of a framework that we're going to run through on, I suppose, how we can approach that. Is that correct?
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, okay, cool. One of the things I'd like to is, I mean, I'm not sure if we're going to get to that as well, but, talking about, it's quite expensive marketing, especially for a lot of the tradies out there. You look at the guys that are, emergency services, your plumbers, electricians, that kind of thing. Marketing can be extremely expensive. So I think for those guys to learn how they can, buffer some of those costs against, getting a good referral strategy in place would be extremely valuable to them. So hopefully, does your plan sort of cover off on that?
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff we're going to go through and as well as the plan, it's about building systems. Yeah. So if right now you've got no work and you need to get 5 jobs this week, we're playing a longer game. Gotcha. So that's where, you probably have to be spending $10 a click and being on the front page of Google for your area. Yeah. But when you put the right systems, structures, processes in place, well, in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, all of a sudden now you have a pipeline rather than having to worry about what's next, which tends to be the problem for most businesses.
It's an amazing dynamic as well when you look at the broader reach of a network. Like when you automatically think, I approach my network, you think, okay, good. Well, who do I know? Who have I done work for? Who's in my immediate area? But then when you look at like who's connected to who, like on that macro scale, it gets pretty exciting, doesn't it? Yeah,
so true. And even though like you and I have been connected for goodness knows how long, it took someone else introducing us for us to be able to talk.
That's true. We've been friends on Facebook for years and we've only now having a conversation. Anyway. All right, cool. Well, look, why don't we dive into episode 1, which is building your referral team. I think this is something that's super relevant to anyone out there, not vertical specific by any measure. So, guys, if you know anyone that's going to benefit from this, regardless of whether or not they're a tradie, by all means send it on, because I'm sure they'll learn something. So let's talk about that, Michael. Like, who is this really designed at? Well, actually, is this something we're talking to at like a business owner level, or is this something that everyone can do?
Yeah, certainly everyone can do it, and I would encourage that if you've got people who are working for you, that you get them to do it too. So the more people you have in your organisation that can be helping in this overall system, the more benefits you're going to get. So I know within our team, everyone is in charge of creating their referral teams because they've got their own networks, they've got their own contacts, they're coming across people day in, day out. So there's nothing that stops anyone and everyone in your organisation from doing these things.
Yeah,
so
right.
When we talk about building our referral teams, what we're talking about here is how can we team up with people who sell to the same people we sell to and we don't compete with one another.
Yep.
So when you think about that, the first thing we sort of talk about is, great, so how do we identify who those people are? And first, simple question, where else do my people spend money? So do they spend money with a health professional? So if you're a plumber, do they spend money with an electrician? If you're the electrician, do they spend money with the painter? So just start to think, where else does my person spend money where they're not competing with me? Because all of those people have the potential to be part of your referral team, to be a referral source for you. Now, the mistake that most people make in this is they just go, okay, great. So I'll just say, I'm an electrician. Good. I could use a painter and I could use a handyman and I could use a tiler and I could use the pool person and I could use the lawn service. And great, you've thought about it, but you don't do anything about it. Or you have informal conversations where you might meet and you might go, oh, great, I see you're a painter and I'm an electrician, and you don't take it any further. Referral teams only work when you put structure, purpose, agendas to it. Like, take responsibility. These are your referral sources, your marketing channels. These are people who could be passing you as much business as you need. So therefore, when you start thinking like that, what are you going to do to influence the outcome and make sure you get the right outcome that you want, rather than just sit back and hope that something happens?
Okay, cool. So is that something that we're able to dive into? I mean, I'm looking at the referral game plan here on screen. Are we going to be running through some of that stuff, or are we going to be?
Yeah. So let's if you're happy, Matt, let's go through and let's look at how do we actually build our referral teams.
Do you want me to do a screen share for this one, or? We don't have to.
No need to. I don't reckon for this one.
Right, cool.
Good idea. Grab your pen and paper.
Yep.
There's 4 simple steps that we'll run through.
Yep.
So first step, identify.
Yep.
So what we need to be doing is identifying all the different types of businesses that could be part of our referral teams. Don't worry about whether you know anybody in that particular business or not. That will happen. So just start writing down. I'll just keep that I'm the electrician. So I could go, great, I could team up with any other type of service that's not around my electrician work. I could team up with different health professionals, because the health professionals in the local area are also seeing the families and the households that I'm seeing. I might be able to team up with other types of business services, the local mortgage broker, the various real estate agents. There are so many people within my region that are seeing the same sorts of people that I'm seeing, because the people I'm seeing are the households, whether it be family, professionals, let's just call them. My ideal client is the household. So where else is that household spending money? And now I've just created hopefully a list of 20, 30 different types of businesses that we could potentially team up with, and they could potentially be a referral source of ours.
We interrupt this podcast today to talk to you very quickly about Tradie Web Guy's content creation program. That program has been designed specifically for trade-based organisations as a way that you guys as trade business owners can start creating content that enables you to engage better with your customers and your potential customers. It will enable you to build trust and build rapport, because what you're doing is you're investing in educating them. Biggest problem that we see with our customers today is that they're not regularly updating their websites. And that's a problem because, first of all, the search engines are looking for that. And second of all, potential customers are also looking for it. Tradie Web Guy's content creation program has been specifically designed to help you get regular, relevant content on your website consistently every month. We know that it's hard when you're out there on the tools, and we know that sometimes you don't always have the time to be able to do these things yourself. So we're taking it off your hands for you. It's a service that we're offering for you guys. We want to make sure that you're getting this done because we know how important it is. Anyway, head across to tradiewebguys.com.au/content, fill in the form, and one of our representatives will come back to you. Is there a limit with how sort of micro you can go with that? I mean, like effectively an electrician could go, well, I mean, why not partner with, whatever the retirement village because they have lights in their homes and whatever, like,
yeah,
you can kind of go, it can all be relevant.
Yeah, it is. And I think as soon as you start thinking like this, there's no way that you could ever be thinking that you're ever not going to be 100% full, because
right.
there's so many opportunities where you can go on the back of somebody else's credibility to get the in.
Right.
So, and that's what the referral is all about, isn't it? It's like, rather than you having to knock on a door, cold call, speak to someone who doesn't know, like, or trust you, you're going on the back of Dr. Thompson, who happens to see this household and says, hey, well, my electrician and the ones that we always talk to is Matt Jones down the road. You should use Matt. Well, you're not going to say, oh, well, thanks, I'll go find my own. So it's that power of having as many referral sources as you can, just knowing that now you've got all these people who are talking about you, promoting you, giving you exposure day in, day out. And that's what we want to be able to create.
I imagine we're going to get to this, so just tell me to shut up if I'm jumping the gun here. But you just mentioned you're effectively running off somebody else's credibility, or you're getting those referrals with somebody else's credibility. Are we going to learn how to attack that correctly so that, that's a pretty big step for a lot of people. Well, yeah, I'm putting this guy's name forward.
Yeah, certainly. So, yes, we will, is the short answer.
So shut up is a short answer.
That's okay. So step one, we've now identified. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully hit pause if you need to. Write down a list of 10, 20, 30 odd names, and not names of people, but business types. Now you've started to identify who could be a referral source. People who sell to the same people you sell to, you don't compete with one another. Second step, ask. We do a terrible job of simply asking, hey, we've got the same sort of clientele. Would you like to see if we could be referral partners? That's it. You're not getting married. All you're simply doing is asking for the first date, because they need to come back and say, yes, I do, or no, I don't.
Right.
A lot of the time we don't ask because we're already 5 steps down the track worrying about what's going to happen next. Who cares? Just simply, it's a yes or a no.
Yeah.
So start asking more people. Everyone you bump into that services the same sort of clientele that you service, you should just be asking, hey, I'm looking for some referral partners, people to be able to refer my clients to. Is that something you're interested in talking about? And they either need to give you a yes or a no. And until they give you a yes, don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
So simple second step, ask. And the simple thing we talk about is, hey, I'm looking for some new referral partners to be able to pass referrals that our clients need. Is that something you're interested in?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So now let's assume they've said yes. So our third step is conversation. So at the moment, just because they've said yes doesn't mean anything's going to happen. And I think in the so-called traditional world right now, that's where things sort of fizzle out and die.
Yeah.
So I go, hey, Matt, how about I refer to you and you refer to me? And Matt says, oh, yeah, sounds good. And I say, yeah, sounds good. And then we sit on our hands, and what happens in the first 30 days?
Not much.
Very little.
Yeah.
Yeah. And therefore, Matt's hopeless, and Matt's going, oh, Michael's hopeless. And the relationship fizzles out and dies, and it was a complete waste of time talking to start with.
Yeah.
So step 3, conversation. It's just when Matt says, oh, yeah, I'd like to see if we can be referral partners. Great. How about we just jump on a quick call? Let's learn a little bit more about each other and how this might be able to work. That's it. So then we'll jump on a call, and that call shouldn't be more than 10 minutes. Let's catch up for coffee, and your body clock knows when 60 minutes is up. It's a complete waste of time. So in 10 minutes, I can work out, does Matt fit what I'm looking for in a referral partner? So for me, I'm looking for the following. Do we have similar mindsets? Do we have similar values? Is it easy to communicate with one another? Does it look like it's going to be fun? I don't want to do stuff where it's going to be hard. So I just have some simple little rules that if I go, good, tick, 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 then I know that it's worth trying to do something together. So same mindset, similar values. Is it going to be fun? Do they have the same sort of networks that I want to get into? Do I just have a good feel about the person? And if I can tick them off, I'm happy to at least give that person a go.
Yeah.
So in that conversation, I'm just asking questions and finding out about the other person so I can tick off my boxes. So I just start off, hey, Matt, so tell me more about you and what you've got going on. That's really the only question you have to remember. So it's not tell me about your business. It's tell me more about you and what you've got going on. Because then when Matt naturally starts talking about his business, which he will, you can go, great, so what are some things you like doing when you're not in business? And that just gives you a feel for, are you sort of similar in person?
Right.
Now, this doesn't have to be a huge conversation. You are just working out, is this person a right fit for you and your referral team? And that's all you're trying to achieve.
But with a referral, like a business arrangement, like them not having a similar personal interest may be of very little bearing, right?
Yeah, correct. And every person is going to be completely different based on their rules, what needs to be ticked off. As long as you're comfortable with that person, then great. And there's no hard or fast rules on this. You've got to create your rules.
Right.
They're the 5 things I look for. Doesn't mean someone else has to look for those. As long as by the end you go, yeah, I actually think that I like the person, I trust the person enough to do something with, let's give it a go. Perfect. That's what the conversation is there to do.
Yeah.
Okay? So step 4 then is just what we call action plan. So now the person has passed the test, we're going to simply just do one thing for one another. So I'm going to get Matt to do one thing for me. I'm going to do one thing for Matt. And if that works out really well, good communication, good follow through, we actually did what we said we're going to do. Well, now we can look at how do we actually be referral partners going forward. So even if you're not sure in the conversation, by doing step 4 and doing one thing for each other as an action plan, you're going to learn pretty quickly, is this person someone you want to do stuff with, someone you can trust, someone that you like, and that's going to build then the trustability and credibility of one another.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
That's a good point, actually, because you could pretty much immediately eliminate someone who's in it for themselves by the one thing, can't you?
Yeah, most definitely. So just by having those 4 simple little steps, then if everything's gone to plan, then our 5th step is great. Let's talk about now our ongoing referral team relationship.
Okay. And is that what we're going to talk about more in the 3rd episode of this series, or is that?
No, we're going to get into that right now.
Woohoo!
So we break our referral teams into 5 different categories.
Yeah.
We talk about having a team of 66 people broken down into these 5 categories. Why? We know the average person can handle 66. We've got a number of people that only have 10. We've got a number of people that have over 100. There's no rule. It's whatever you are comfortable with. Our first type of group within our team is what we call Profitability Partners. So our Profitability Partners, we're going to have a weekly conversation with. It's going to take no more than 10 minutes, same day, same time, every single week for 10 minutes. following a set agenda. And in that agenda, we're actually strategizing how do we get each other more business. So we talk about having 6 profitability partners. I reckon, Matt, for a lot of your listeners, if they had 2 or 3, that would be plenty.
Yeah.
Because obviously they don't have a huge amount of time. Most of the time they're on doing. Maybe it's something where a business development manager could be doing something like this if they had a team around them. But in the end, a profitability partner in the agenda, I'm just going to pretend, Matt, you and I are profitability partners. The 10-minute conversation would go something like accountability from the week before. Matt, what's your goal for this week? Who can I connect you to this week? And what are 3 things I can do for you this week? And then you'd ask exactly the same 3 questions back.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the goal important? Hey, if I can help you with your goal, great, I will. But by you sharing something that's important to you, what does it do to our trust?
Yeah.
It naturally increases it. So that's why that's important to have that in there. Who do you want to be connected to? Well, don't say I want to be connected to a household that needs plumbing. Think about who has all of your household. So you might say, I'd love to be connected to a local sporting group. I'd love to be connected to the local school. I'd love to be able to get an introduction into the P&C. I'd love to be able to... So think about someone who has all of your people that if you got an introduction to them, you might pick up 5, 10, 20, 100 jobs rather than just 1.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that your referral partners aren't only trying to find you referrals, but they're sharing their networks with you, that they're opening doors for you, that they're creating more opportunities than just simply, here's a referral.
So just quickly on that, it's a weekly, like a 5-minute call? Is it a one-on-one, or what if you had like a referral group with say 3 or 4 of you? Can you do it that way as well?
Perfect. It's like you already know what's coming. That's the next type of group. So our profitability partners are simply one-on-one.
Okay.
I have a one-on-one call with my partner, same day, same time, every week. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes, going through a set agenda. Mm-hmm. The second type of group is what we call our super group. So we're going to get a group of up to 8 people, including ourselves, who all sell to the same person. They don't compete with one another, and we're going to catch up once a month. Whether that be face-to-face, whether that be online on Zoom, doesn't matter. But it's like forming your own little power group, your own super group, your own network group, where you might have, I'm a plumber, I've got an electrician in there, I've got the painter in there, I've got the lawnmower service in there, I've got everyone who sells to the same people, and none of us compete with each other. So again, once a month, probably takes 45 minutes, following the set agenda. Goal for the month, who can I connect you to? And what's one thing I can do for you this month?
Love it.
Right, so that's our second type of team. So we've got 8 people in there, including yourself. We've got up to 6 profitability partners. They can't be the same people. There's just no point.
Okay.
So straight away now, you've got 13 people, 13 referral sources who are trying to find you business day in, week in, month in. So you've gone from you having to do it all yourself to having a team of like 13 salespeople that you don't have to pay. Okay? Our third type of group is what we call our cross-promotion partners. Cross-promotion is just simply where we just do a one-off, and we might do that like every quarter or so. So these people, hey, can you promote this for me into your network? And would you mind promoting this to my network type of thing? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's a one-off every quarter. So we might do that 2-3 times a year. And it's just simply a one-off cross-promotion.
Okay.
So we look at going, how do we have 20 of those people? That would give you certainly lots of cross-promotions throughout.
And so that might be something like promoting maybe you're doing like a hot water installation promotion or something like that.
Yeah, spot on. It can really be anything that you'd like promoted.
Yep.
So they're the 3 main groups that I reckon are really beneficial right here for our tradies. I'm going to go through the last 2 just so that people are aware of them. But I reckon if you focus on the first 3, you're going to have more than what you need. So our fourth group is what we call content distributors.
Right.
So I'm sure Matt's telling you that you need to be on social platforms, you need to be getting exposure, you need to be being seen. Well, if you're the only one that's promoting your stuff, you've got a limited reach. So instead, how might you be able to team up with other local businesses, other people who also should be sharing content, and now you get shared into their networks. And now instantly, you have a whole new network to be talking to. So if I go, I'm the local plumber of, I'll just pick somewhere, I'm the local plumber of Newcastle in New South Wales, regional town. I go, great. So I could use this cafe, or I could use this restaurant, or I could use these other types of service businesses. They promote my stuff on social, I promote their stuff, and all of a sudden now we're being seen by a whole new network and leveraging into new networks that just didn't even know that we existed before. Yep. So that's what we classify as content distributors.
Would that as well be like effectively what we're doing now? Like if, we record a podcast, I share it out to my community, you share it out to your community. Is that the same sort of thing?
Yeah, and I suppose this is probably a little bit more of a cross promotion.
Right.
But certainly you put up a post and I go, great, let me share that out to our referral network. Let me share that out on my LinkedIn. And now it gives you more exposure to people that you probably don't know, and they don't know you. So now you get a chance to get seen by a wider audience.
Yeah.
Okay? Like when I think, how do a lot of, especially on Instagram, how do people really grow their following fast? They create little Insta clusters, as they're called, and they just simply go, okay, I'll put up a post, and as soon as one person puts up a post, everyone else has to share it and promote it.
Right.
And they're allowed to do 2 posts a day. Everyone's sharing and promoting it, and all of a sudden they're getting leveraged into all these people that didn't know they existed. They increase their fan base, their audience base, and now they can sell to more people. So in essence, we're just doing the same, just a little bit softer.
Yep.
Our last group are affiliates. So this is the only group where we're happy to pay someone a piece of the pie for creating us new business. Okay, so we call them affiliates. For some businesses, it works really well. For others, it can't work at all. I'll talk about it, and you decide whether it's a good fit for you or not. So an affiliate promotes us, tries to sell us, and we reward them for creating a sale for us. Mm-hmm. So a way affiliates could certainly work within the tradies is, hey, go to a local school, and every time the school needs an electrician, they use a special code. And every time you create the sale through the special code, you donate something back to buy books, sporting equipment, etc. Mm-hmm. So that is a real easy way that tradies can use affiliates to be able to pick up more business and really get themselves entrenched by just offering something back that's going to help that community. Because in the end, why wouldn't I be using the plumber that's going to give 10% back to the school so they can buy more equipment? The whole school community would jump on that like nothing else. And before you know it, you've got an extra 200, 300, 400, 500 odd clients just simply because you teamed up as an affiliate with the school.
I love it. And then you can get creative, I suppose, with the way you market that too. Create some content around it and get people to share that.
Oh, there's so much you could do with that. You could then go into the school and for each class, do a little thing around water if you're a plumber, water projects if you're an electrician, around electricity. Like you can take that absolutely anywhere and just really have fun with it.
All right, brilliant. Well, look, we could probably wrap that one up there. So my key takeaways for that were, first of all, the 4 steps, obviously. So make sure you're identifying who your potential referrers could be or that network could be. Ask the question, get in their space. You don't know unless you ask. Create a conversation. And the thing I got out of the conversation as well was that little do something for each other just to prove that you're legit. I thought that was pretty cool. I like the supergroup structure as well that you spoke about. I thought that was pretty awesome. I think a lot of the guys out there sort of do I mean, obviously they have a lot of mates that are tradies. If they're builders, they got mates that are builders and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know how good they are at actually forming or what's the word I'm looking for? Formalizing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then of course, the action plan. I mean, the action plan is gold. Nothing happens without some sort of structure there. So what about, is there anything I've missed there?
No, you're spot on. The biggest thing, if you don't have structure, agenda, plans to follow, it's hope and luck. And we know where hope and luck gets you, nowhere. So just know that if you really want something to change, like with anything in your world, you take responsibility and you put the right plans in place and you do the right actions and you'll get the result.
Now, where's the best place for people to get more information on what you've just spoken about?
That's broken down within the 9-point referral game plan with the structures and the agendas. So everything we're going to go through, it's just another layer on top in that plan. Okay,
brilliant. So guys, you'll be able to get access to that plan through the show notes. So head across to thesiteshed.com and you'll have to dig up this podcast, which will probably be something along the line of /referral. And then you can find the that game plan. And you'll also be able to get to it as well, guys, through the resources section of the SiteShed. So head across to thesiteshed.com /resources, and it will all be in there. All right, Michael, let's jump out of this call, and we're going to come back on the second episode, and we're going to talk about how to make the most out of your network. Sound like a plan?
Sounds good to me. Looking forward to it.
Rock and roll. Okay, that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to another episode of Toolbox Talks. If you're liking what you hear, then you can head across to thesiteshed.com where you can join our community by signing up to our Toolbox Talks. You'll get sent a weekly notification, which is basically a highlight of everything that we've spoken about during that week, along with any other industry news that may be relevant or specific to the trades. If you're enjoying the show, you can head across to iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, where you can leave us a review. That would be fantastic, and all the reviews get read out in the show. Likewise, if you have any friends or colleagues that you think would benefit from the show and the episodes that we create, then please go ahead and share it with them.